Call Tampa City Council back to order. Hope everybody had a good lunch. Roll call, please.
Miranda.
Here.
Maniscalco.
Here.
Hurtak.
Here.
Vieira. Carlson.
Here.
And Clendenin.
Here.
We have a fiscal quorum.
Thank you. We have two items of business. We're going to start with, we had a time certain for item number 69. Staff to present a monthly report, quarterly in-person, otherwise written reports on the update of the status of Fire Station 24 to include, and then it goes on. So, Chief? Hey, Tim? Gonna get him around him though.
Oh, yeah, we don't have Marty either.
Oh. Well, it's staff report, so we don't really need Marty. She's got one more thing. Oh, they're ready. Thank you.
Yeah, just one to drop at Marty. Perfect.
Good afternoon, Council. Barbara Tripp, Fire Chief for Tampa Fire Rescue. Of course, we're here to present and give information as far as an update on Station 24. I have the project manager here as well, and I'll let him introduce himself. And we were able, I don't know if CT was able to put it up, but we can present it on the
CTTV, if you have it up, well, we've got something here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like we do. So if you could put the presentation up on the chamber's large screens, that'd be great. Broadcast. There we go.
Okay, great. Well, thank you all very much. Again, my name is Ken Guyad. I'm a Senior Director with Collier's Project Leaders. We're the project manager for this Fire Station 24 project. Again, this was just kind of talking about the core team of the project on this first slide. And as we get into this latest update, just want to talk a little bit about some of the key milestones that were met since we last spoke. First of which was the schematic design phase. The plan updates for schematic design were completed on, actually a little bit ahead of schedule, on the 2nd of September. The tree mitigation survey has been completed. We have power line relocation discussions ongoing with TECO. If you recall, we have power lines on site that we're trying to see if we can get those buried, so those options are being weighed on right now and discussed. I think the preferred option by all would be to bury those lines, and so we're making sure that we have that, continue on that conversation with TECO. Vacating Alcaloo Avenue, the right-of-way, was ongoing, but I heard today that everything was passed, so good news, and we'll continue marching forward based on that. So that'll basically combine these two parcels into one, which will be good for the project. Talking a little bit about the design and the update on the design, here's this latest site plan. The three large green circles that you see denoted on here are actually the grand trees. They're on the grand list, and we're showing all those trees being saved and being kept on site. And so there's tree mitigation and protection within the contract documents that will be carried forward to ensure that those trees are not damaged in any way due to any construction activities. As spoken last time, we did and we have been able to eliminate the underground drainage structures that were a big part of the cost of the project. And if you look directly to the right, to the east side of the plan that you see before you, all those lines mean that there's a depression there. That's where the stormwater mitigation will actually happen. It was in that sedimentation retention pond to the eastern side of the property. Just again, to orient yourself, we access the property through the far western side of the plan. Up the driveway, there's a security gate that allows access to the team, the fire station team only. There's 4 parking spots immediately to the right as you enter. Those are for visitor parking. You enter through the security gates, come around the back of the building. That's where you'll have entrance and ingress into the apparatus bays. And then those apparatus will exit and egress through the south part of that apparatus bay, again, back on East Whiteway. One of the requested items was to just discuss the percentage of impervious surface. That is actually currently calculated at 42% of impervious surface ratio. If there's additional information that you would like on that, we can absolutely get that from our civil engineer and get that over to the council. Here's the updated floor plan. A couple of key notes here on the floor plan. We've been able to reduce square footage, and we're going to continue, as we've talked about before, to make this a more efficient plan, to continue to look to try to reduce square footage where it seems prudent without compromising program. This floor plan, as it's currently constituted, will be able to accommodate 11 firefighters, 2 captains, 1 lieutenant, 1 district chief, and that's at 3 shifts. So there'll be 3 shifts. There can be 3 shifts of all of those components carried forward. That'll be accommodated within this plan. Currently, the gross square footage is at 17,213 gross square feet. The last iteration of this plan that you saw, we were at 19,800 gross square feet. So obviously, we've been able to shrink that square footage down considerably. In the original gross square footage on the original SNA, the space needs assessment, was 24,135 gross square feet. So we've been able to really make this a much more efficient plan and reduce the square footage, which will then turn into savings on the construction side. The next 4 slides are the exterior renderings, and again, these are just graphic representations of what the building is going to look like. There will be some more iterations. Again, this is schematic design phase, so as we go through design development into construction documents, this will be, again, more enhanced as we go forward. The colors may change slightly depending on what the reaction is to the team, et cetera, et cetera. But by and large, this is what you'll see from the southwest of the building. The southeast is on the next slide, looking at the apparatus bays. Then this is the back side of the building where you'll see the exterior area for the physical agility space, outdoor physical agility space, as well as outdoor dining area. And then the back of the building, which is, again, looking at the ingress side now of the vehicle apparatus bay. Project schedule, we are currently actually a little ahead of schedule right now. We're going to keep working to improve those dates. We talked about that. Again, the last time we met, there's several options and several things that we're going to look at as we continue to march this project from schematic design into design development that we're going to continue to work towards. Some of those have actually already started to come to fruition. One of those is the use of tilt-up wall construction in this early design. We talked about doing that at the last meeting. It will definitely save on construction time. We'll know a little bit more how much time it'll save as we get into what's one of the upcoming milestones, which is the constructability and construction estimate for schematic design, which is due the middle of October. That'll be where now the construction manager gets to take a look at the plans, gets to put some numbers to it, gets to put some timeline to it, and we'll be able to, again, work to reduce both of those numbers as we keep marching forward. It's just a good barometer as we work through the schematic design phase. So the schematic design phase in completion, which will include the construction estimate and the constructability review, will be complete by the end of October, 10/24 to be exact. And then we begin design development, which is, again, further design enhancements, further design specifications that ultimately will coalesce to a full set of construction documents after the construction phase, which is the subsequent phase. Design development plans, and those plan updates will be completed on or about the 9th of December. We are going to continue to work to reduce the owner review times, and review times have been very, very swift with TFR and their team. And we're going to continue to work to reduce permitting durations, work to reduce some of the design durations, and still continue to look at early enabling work and see if we can push to get something that's actually out on site early. And that will be telling as we get into this first constructability review. We're really going to get into some of those conversations in more finer detail, granular detail during this constructability review. So with that, if the council has any questions. more than happy to answer them.
Councilman Vieira.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, sir, for your presentation. I appreciate it. I appreciate your hard work, Chief Tripp, your hard work, Mr. Mutterback, who I was talking to outside, your hard work, and Local 754 pushing for this as well, and everybody. I really, really appreciate it. Quick question, sir. When do we have an amended date for groundbreaking? If I recall, and didn't sleep a lot last night for some reason, and so I think it was September of 26, I believe. Is that still the rough date?
So that's still what they're showing in their schedule, but this initial constructability and cost estimate that's going to happen in October, that's going to hopefully pull that date back. And so we'll have a better estimate on schedule after that constructability review.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
And how much time do you think that'll shave off? Just so that, I mean, I'm not going to hold you to it, by the way.
Well, we're hopeful that it's going to shave off a considerable amount of time, considering that we're going into tilt wall construction now. We're hopefully it's going to shave off weeks, not days, off of that schedule. Hopefully months, if we can push to get that.
And thank you for that, sir. And I was speaking to Mr. Mutterback, who was saying what a great job you've done and what a valuable asset you've been in helping Chief Tripp and everybody on this. So thank you very much for that. And when do you think it'll be accordingly then ready to open and everything? A little bit of time off that, you think, or?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. So we're going to get that, again, that grand opening, that ribbon cutting pulled back at least as the same kind of duration as the early on-site getting in groundbreaking. So wherever we can pull back the time, it's hopefully going to be reflective throughout the rest of the duration of the construction. And again, looking at different aspects of being able to get that pulled back as much as possible.
Thank you very much, sir. And I think it's 27. I'll be
That's
out of
correct.
here, but whoever council picks as my replacement, I guess, and then maybe the voters pick, they'll be here, and I know it'll be a great celebration and everything. But, you know, so this is very important because it places the last 3 fire stations in the city of Tampa have been in North and New Tampa, the area that we're in, you know, for this. This is North Tampa. We have 23 that was in New Tampa for the Grand Hampton area. You have 25 that is, you know, Sulphur Springs, but is geared towards North Tampa to help out with Station 13. One of the first things we worked on with Chief Tripp, with then Chief Tripp, and then Joe Greco, I think, was the head of the union back then, if I recall. And so this is going to, you know, finish what you started, so to speak, on this with in helping out North Tampa. I think I last went to Station 13 on Labor Day, and they're doing better, thank God, which is great. I mean, they see the difference with Station 25 and helping them out with response times and workload and everything like that. I always say, you know, we have it, not to talk politics, but we have an election coming up for mayor, and obviously I'm not running for mayor, I'm not running for a city office next or anything of that nature, just as somebody that cares a lot for, you know, Tampa Fire Rescue. I really hope that we have a very robust discussion in that election on fire stations. I think that is so important for the next administration to really, really hit that issue very hard. I know we're working on the fleet maintenance and moving that out of Station 9 to help expand room in Station 9 to assist with expansion for growing West Tampa. I maintain that we need additional investments in New Tampa, and like I talked about at the budget hearing, downtown Tampa. So I really hope that that is a big discussion, because this should just be the beginning. Again, I've stated my position many times, including my disagreement with the administration on fire stations, but I'm just glad to see this happen. And glad to see that you know, you're getting in. Again, that's you know, everybody has their function, and I'm an attorney. I'm good in court. I'm good in depositions, this and that. You give me legal research, I will give it to a Poindexter. You know what I mean? So everybody has their strengths at things, and that's just the way it is. So we appreciate your coming in and just helping folks out, because I think that's important. So that's it. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chief, Mr. Mutterback, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Absolutely. Councilwoman Hurtak.
Thank you, and thank you, Councilman Vieira, for those points. The questions about the timeline were mine as well, but I'm going to go to the other side. And I heard you say savings, and when I heard savings, that's definitely something that you mentioned, that there's no longer a vault. We've moved it. So in that October update, will we also have an update on the savings?
That's correct. So the intent is to have a construction budget back from the contractor.
Okay.
That'll give us an estimate of where we're standing at with construction. And we'll continue to look at value management as we work forward to get that number back down as we're continuing on to the next phase. So the intent is that we see the number now. Hopefully, it's good. We work to get it down more and more and more. Design development, it's going to happen again. We're going to get another constructability review. We're going to get another construction estimate. Likewise, in construction document phase, we're also going to get the same thing. So we're going to have 3 different cost estimates between now and the time it actually goes and they actually start putting it out on the street with their subcontractors. So the intent is to be very, very comfortable with the number before they're released to go. So there's no surprises come the time that we get numbers back from the subcontractors that we're ready to start digging immediately.
Okay, great. That's very good. And I'm looked at the floor plan, and I have to say, the last time I was up to visit my mother, I was able to get into Fire Station number 1 for Gainesville Fire Rescue, or Fire Department. Their rescue's different. And I got a great tour, and they told me of stuff that was awesome and stuff that did not work. So I still have not had a chance to talk to Chief Tripp about it, but I will, because there are definitely things that I see on this site plan that were best practice for that station. And so I would love to talk a little bit more. I can't really see super clear on this, so I would love to have a
Sure.
conversation. I'm so sorry during lunch I wasn't able to come down, so I would like to do that. And on the note of, building more fire stations, I was just at Station 4 on Monday, all day, to see what 4 and 10 were like together. And while it works, because Station 4 just happens to have the room for that, Station 10 really, and we can't start that until Fleet and Supply is done. So my other question to you, or I guess to Chief Tripp, or even to Mr. Mutterback is he available to help with Fleet and Supply?
I'll say yes, for my own.
Spoken like a contractor.
I know this is off the record, but I'm gonna bribe him to stay around.
Okay. Well,
Won't
because,
take much.
this sounds great, and the way you're able to move forward and help Chief Tripp, who has so much on her plate, to be able to, because Fleet and Supply is gonna be the same thing. We're gonna have the needs. My other only concern about this, and again, I can talk offline about it, is I understand there's enough room for 11 firefighters and the folks who are in charge of them. Like, is there room for growth? Because 4 bays means a lot of people. I mean, you got to have it. So I'm curious about that as well, and I want to make sure that while we are value engineering for space, we are also thinking about ways that space might be reconfigured if we ended up needing more bodies in that space.
Before you answer that question, I want to expand on that, because that was going to be my point as well. With all of the expansion we see happening at USF and the claw redevelopment and the reimagineering of Fowler, we anticipate a lot of increased density up there. So with that, what Councilwoman Hurtek just said, how does this play in, and is that anticipated in this design?
So I'll speak on part of it. So Barbara Tripp, Fire Chief. That was my whole plan of building this station, because currently right now, Station 24, the resources that's there is an engine and a rescue, okay? With North Tampa growing, with the stadium coming, with all of that being developed, that's why I needed a 4-bay to predict for growth. Okay. So just like now, you went to Station 4, and rode with Station 4, and we're putting a lot of resources. I mean, just like Station 1. I don't have room for rescue sit, so I had to put it somewhere. So that station there is basically looking for the future, because we're going to have to add more. The city is growing, the population is increased, incidents is happening. So that was the whole point of making sure that we have room to put another engine or another rescue car, whatever resource that we need for whatever's going on in that area, whether it be a ladder truck, or a chief, or whatever the case may be, and that was the whole purpose of having 4 bays there.
Okay, so what you're saying is that not all of these dorm spaces will be full immediately. So this is for growth. So that was what I was asking, because I did notice that, and we talked about it while I was at Station 4. I mean, 10's engine is outside because there's no room for it, because they actually, even though they have enough bays, those hold other important apparatus. So, and that's where they live. because of the proximity to the port and to other areas. So it's always interesting to be at Station 4 for that reason. But
And that's
yes.
another thing, because, you know, it was fire department, now we become fire rescue.
Yeah.
We've added more resources to these stations that are
Yep.
65 years old, so we need to grow the stations as well.
Absolutely, and I just, again, want to say publicly how much I always enjoy the ride-alongs. I learn a lot, and just got to see new stuff that every time I go, I see something new, and that's why I love the ride-alongs with both police and fire. I learn a lot, so just want to be able to say that publicly, that how much I learn and respect all the folks who do that work. So thank you for everything. Thank you.
So the plan is, this is built for expansion and co-location for rescue and fire? So
Yes, sir.
That's correct.
And so you're comfortable with the size of the scale? Okay, great. One quick question. This could have been done with a phone call, but I'm curious, because, you know, there's fire stations being built freaking everywhere, right? I mean, because especially in Florida with the growth. Why are they all specific? Why don't we have like a turnkey design? Why can't we just buy a set of plans and build a fire station?
Land.
But I mean, this is kind of a simple, there's nothing really complex about this. It's like,
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's dependent on what the use of that particular fire station might be, what kind of apparatus it has, the support staff that needs to be there, whether it's full-time firefighters, part-time firefighters, whether they stay there, whether, you know, it's a bunch of different aspects. I think Chief can probably talk more about it, but I think it's a lot to have just a kind of I think NFPA, if they could, they would absolutely have here's a perfect fire station, take this and build this.
Model A for this density,
That's
Model
right.
B, Model C, Model D.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. And they try doing that with
just doesn't
schools.
exist anywhere? These are all custom?
Not that I know of. I mean, I'm sure there's architects that have that ability to be able to just pull out of their portfolio and say, we've used this and we've basically done it in 5 different locations.
All right. Yeah, we get emails from the president of 754, and we see these fire stations being built. I go, gosh, surely there's got to be like turnkey models of these things. Councilman Carlson.
My name's not Shirley.
Shirley.
Sorry.
I'm the funny
That's
one.
an old joke.
And none of these young people, all because, you know, our audience is usually the demographic of like 18 to 24.
Thank you to Chief Tripp and everyone who's working on this, and special thanks to Councilmember Vieira. This has been maybe a six or more year, 7-year, at least almost the whole time I've been on council, project that Councilmember Vieira's leading. The one thing I wanted to say is for the hardworking men and women of the fire rescue, and for the neighborhoods who want us to put more resources and deploy more resources. The idea was that we all got behind this one. It's not in my district, but I support it. My colleagues support it because we have a whole queue of things that we have to get through. This one has taken years and years, and I'm hoping that once this is done, that we can move the backlog of other things that we all in council and you know, firefighters and neighborhoods would like. And so I hope that this will be the beginning of many positive things to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else?
I had a quick question.
Go ahead, Councilman Rivera.
I had a message, which I sent to my public email, by the way. If they could make this presentation available on base, somebody had asked me that.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, oh, it was funny. I was laughing when Councilwoman Hurtak was talking about doing the ride-alongs. I always laugh, Chief Tripp, of when you let me pretty much spend the night at Station 13. Looking back, I'm like, man, I'm shocked you let me do that, you know? So especially me, because I'm so damn clumsy. So I'm a risk liability. So that's all. But just still, I always appreciate that. I was just reminded me, I guess. But that's all. Thank you.
Very good. Okay, well, thank you for the great report. We appreciate it.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay. There we go. We are.
That's a pretty picture. It's a really lovely photograph.
What, of me?
Did Guido
Is that
take
what-
that one?
Is that what you're looking at? Okay, I'd like to hear a motion to open the 1:30 public hearings. We have a motion from Councilman Maniscalco, a second from Councilman Miranda. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, we are on item number 63. If you are here in the audience today to provide testimony or speak on item 63, please stand, raise your right hand, and be sworn in by the clerk. Thank you. Who's going to kick us off?
Good afternoon. Kamari Pettis-Mackel from the Legal Department. Item number 63 is regarding file number FDN 2536. Mr. Shelby should be handing out the code section 27-61 and the recommended order regarding this matter. But I took the liberty to explaining the code section and where we are and what City Council's role is today. I took the liberty of doing a breakdown of the code section of 27-61 on an Elmo, on a PowerPoint presentation that will be showing on the Wolf. So if I could just have access to the Wolf.
It should self-activate when you throw it down there. Once they flick the switch.
Okay. May I proceed?
Yes.
Okay. As indicated, this matter is before you to consider the recommended order by the hearing officer who conducted the de novo review hearing regarding this matter. So the de novo review hearing already took place. That's not what we're here for. We're just here for City Council to take action regarding the recommended order. And as outlined in Code Section 27-61, subsection J1E 3i, City Council may adopt the recommended order as final, reject the recommended order in its entirety, or modify the recommended order. The final order, according to Code Section 27-61, subsection J1E 3i, City Council may not reject or modify any findings of fact reached by the hearing officer. And that's important because it's outlined in the code. You can't change his findings of fact. And it also provides additional information if you think that further fact finding is needed. You could always remand this matter back to the hearing officer for further fact finding. Also, Code Section 27-61, subsection J1E 3i states, if City Council rejects or modifies conclusions of law, you must state with particularity in the final order your reason for modifying or rejecting any conclusions of law. And you must state that your finding that its substitution of a conclusion of law is as or more reasonable than which was rejected or modified. This is the language straight from the code. So I haven't modified anything. This is exactly how it appears in the code. So that's what you're tasked with this afternoon, is accepting the recommended order, modifying the recommended order, or rejecting the recommended order. I will say that there were some exceptions that were filed by the petitioner regarding this matter. Code Section 27-61, subsection J, subsection 1D 3i addresses the exceptions. Exceptions shall consist of any objections to the finding of fact or conclusions of law contained in the recommended order. The exceptions must identify the disputed portion of the recommended order. And if the exception is based on testimony presented at the hearing, then the person filing the exception must provide a transcript of the proceeding or a video recording of it. There was also a request made for oral argument regarding this matter. And again, the oral argument portion of the code is also, it's in your packet that I gave you about oral argument. It also gives, if you choose to give oral argument, it's on page 2 and page 3 of the handout. But here's the information regarding oral arguments. Code Section 27-61, subsection J1E 2i. City Council may only open the meeting for oral argument if City Council finds the hearing officer did not address a matter introduced into the record, or the recommended order contains an ambiguity. If City Council allows oral argument, you may limit such oral argument to addressing only those matters for which it opened for oral argument. So you can, if you decide to open for oral argument, you can limit what the oral argument is about. Mr. Shelby shall review, this is the one time that City Council attorney is outlined in the City of Tampa Code. Mr. Shelby shall review the request for oral argument and make a recommendation to City Council on whether or not the request for oral argument meets the criteria. But I just want to re-emphasize the purpose of today's hearing is just to consider the recommended order. This is not a review hearing part 2, and this is not a de novo hearing. This is just to consider the recommended order. And with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Shelby.
Mr. Shelby.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of City Council. Martin Shelby, City Council Attorney. As Ms. Pettis-Mackle says, I have the distinct honor of having this provision in the code, which I have had the opportunity to review the exceptions to the recommended order and the request for oral argument. And what I'd like to do, so that I ensure that you have it in front of you, is to distribute again the exceptions to the recommended order that have been filed by counsel for the applicant or petitioner, and also the request for oral argument. So then what you have in front of you is a full set of items to be able to refer to. Most importantly, the recommended order itself, which was attached to the resolution setting this hearing from the outset. So your comments relating to this decision have to refer specifically to that recommended order. Again, this is not a de novo hearing. This is not a review hearing. This is based solely on the recommended order. And then what you have in front of you are exceptions to that, and you have the request for oral argument. Counsel, after reviewing the request for an oral argument, I cannot make a recommendation that this request for oral argument meets the criteria. But the discussion doesn't end with that determination. It is still counsel, and I want to reiterate what counsel's role is in this case. You may only, and this code is very strict, your subject and your task here, unlike a de novo review hearing, is very limited, and counsel has had previous experience with this. So let me just state again, for the purposes of the record, City Council may only allow public discussion upon a request for oral argument filed by a party or upon its own motion. City Council may only open the meeting for oral argument. Let me repeat that. City Council may only open the meeting for oral argument if the City Council finds, referring now to the recommended order, that the hearing officer did not address a matter introduced into the record, or the recommended order contains an ambiguity. And again, that is required to be a finding of City Council before you would allow oral argument upon motion. If City Council allows oral argument, City Council may limit such oral argument to addressing only those matters for which it opened oral argument. Now, having done this, I just want to state that in the event the City Council, and again I'm reading directly from the code, subsection 3, in the event City Council approves the request for oral argument, the content of the testimony shall be the same as the content of testimony submitted verbally or in writing to the hearing officer. If council permits oral argument, it shall allow staff and each party up to 10 minutes for oral presentation or argument. Non-party participants may be permitted oral argument, presentation or argument up to 3 minutes. No person may submit new evidence to the City Council during oral argument, and all persons must confine their presentations to evidence made part of the record. And again, you've heard from the Assistant City Attorney, and again, depending on what Council's direction is, we will go through what it takes to get to a final order in this case.
It looks to me like we should take about 15 minutes to read the findings of fact.
I was gonna
conclusions
say,
of law,
can we
and
just have 5 minutes to
Well, I'm
read?
gonna suggest 15, because I would suggest council review the findings of fact, which is 3, conclusions of law, which is 4, and then the exceptions to the recommendations order filed by the petitioners, so that we could assess the case.
Certainly, if that's council's pleasure,
No,
pardon?
we can't leave.
I don't think we should leave.
Do you just want to stay here then,
I
and
would
stay in
here.
session
Yeah,
then?
we'll stay in session, and just so people know, we're gonna sit up here for 15 minutes and read.
Take your time.
I
Yeah.
don't know about 15 minutes.
Okay, well, if you just signal that you're done and are comfortable to proceed, and if I get everybody's hand, we'll, or just put on your lights and I'll know. evening. What's before us today is we have read the hearing officer's conclusion of law and conclusion of facts, and we've read the petitioner's objections to the finding of facts and exceptions of the recommended order. Council, Mr. Shelby.
If you're finished, Mr. Chairman, when
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, you remember that rule about interrupting me?
I certainly do. Just a reminder before you get into a discussion or council determination. Again, the criteria from the code is city council may only open the meeting for oral argument if the city council finds that the hearing officer did not address a matter introduced into the record or the recommended order contains an ambiguity. And again, if you allow oral argument, you may limit the oral argument only to those matters for which you opened it. Let me also read ultimately what the criteria is for final order, because I think it's also relevant in your case. I'm going to read excerpts of the section under final order. And Ms. Pettis-Mackel did reference this in her presentation to council as to the background. City council may not reject or modify any findings of fact reached by the hearing officer. If city council determines that a finding of fact is not based upon competent substantial evidence contained in the record, or that a finding of fact does not comply with the essential requirements of law, meaning was the proper law applied correctly, then city council may, in that case, remand the matter back to the hearing officer, but only if it determines that additional fact finding is required. If city council rejects or modifies a conclusion of law, then your task, I'm paraphrasing here, your task then is to must state, again reading, with particularity in the final order its reasons and must make a finding that your substitution of a conclusion of law is as or more reasonable than that which was rejected or modified. And so that being the case and the context upon which you make your decision, I now turn it back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, based on what city and council attorneys have stated in our role here, it seems as though the threshold is quite high as far as reviewing this case and the statements. Did anybody in their review of the documents find that the hearing officer, is that what his title is, hearing officer?
Could you ask that question again?
So, did anybody, I was just verifying that it was hearing officer was his title. Hearing officer, how he signed us, I'll use that. Did anybody here, when they're reading through the documents, did anybody find that the hearing officer statements of facts and statements of conclusions of law were flawed, or did anybody find that the exceptions filed by the petitioner were valid to justify opening this case with oral arguments? Councilman Carlson?
Yeah, there's no detail on any documentation or discussion about the change of the zoning when the new zoning 1984, when the new code went through. They were under R4, which included both uses, and then we don't know what happened, why they weren't grandfathered in, or whether they requested to maintain, or if they requested a different one, but somehow they were changed to this other zoning classification.
I think you'd go back to the finding of fact and look at what the hearing officer found based on the testimony that was provided about the either use or not continuous use of that property. And
well, as I read it, he's talking about his interpretation of how they were using it, but it doesn't address the issue of whether they requested to be grandfathered in the existing use in 1984.
That information's not in the record, so.
Yeah. So that would, you asked if there's anything that would cause us to open it, that would maybe be a reason to open it.
I don't think that, in my opinion, I don't believe that would reach that threshold, but.
So thank you, Martin Shelby, City Council Attorney. So you're saying that there is something that you might see as a relevant fact that you do not see in the order that you think might be relevant to a decision?
The R4 designation included both uses, and the new designation did not. And so in 1984, it's silent as to whether they tried to change the to be grandfathered into the old zoning at that time. It only talks about the de novo hearing in 2024.
So, yes, I'm sorry. Mr.
And
Chair.
so
I think,
there
I
may-
think in if you go back and look at number 7 on the hearing officers finding of fact, so 7 and then continuing about what the current code, beyond that, continue what the current code allows, I think that kind of addresses your concern.
It just, I'm not trying to argue the point, I'm just bringing
Yeah.
this up because you asked.
Right.
But it doesn't give any details about whether they asked to be grandfathered in and were denied, or what happened at that point. It merely states that it changed.
Yeah, I'm hearing what you're saying,
I
but I don't necessarily know if that's relevant to what we're here
Well,
for
the
today.
thing is, well, if I can, I just want to say that council may only open public discussion upon a request for oral argument filed or by a party, or upon its own motion. So if you think this, if there's something, if it's either an ambiguity or something that's missing from a fact that you may need ascertained in order to make a decision, and I'm not taking a position one way or the other, then if you think that merits oral argument, then a motion would be in order, otherwise not.
It also, can I make one other point?
Yes, sir.
It also shows clearly what, and by the way, for disclosure, I've been to this place, not in a few years, but I've been there several times. But it says clearly what the primary use was, but it doesn't have a site plan or a map or photos to show whether part of it has been used as an office. It merely says that the primary use was dance.
I think
That-
that's the problem. I think
Well-
that's the crux of.
Well, actually, counsel, that, and you may not have recognized it or may overlooked it, but that has been available in a cella. If council needs the opportunity to review documents that you think you don't have, well, that's another issue we can address. But if you feel that that could be addressed in oral argument in answering your question, you can do that. I will remind you that even after oral argument, and of course, there are exceptions, they will be addressed if you grant that right for oral argument by the petitioner's attorney, and of course, the city will have the opportunity to address that and perhaps rebut that. But even after all that finding, counsel, ultimately, please remember that you cannot modify any findings of fact, and you have to remand that if that's the case for additional fact finding. And if it's an issue of law, then your task is to make a finding that a substitution of a conclusion of law is as or more reasonable than that which was rejected. And that you would have to do if you were to do anything other than affirm this order in order to bring back an order that actually reflects what council's decision is. So even after you open oral argument, you still have that duty and that burden that the city code gives you. But if it's a question, counsel, the only thing I can advise you is if you feel it warrants a motion and a second and a vote, it will determine whether you have oral argument or not. Or if there's no desire for a motion, or if there's no second, then the matter is moot.
We don't have to have a motion on this?
Well, my recommendation would be, for the purpose of the record, then you make the determination that you will make a decision without,
Uphold the decision of the hearing officer?
or and as part of the motion, reject the need for oral argument if that's council's pleasure.
Okay. Council, who wants to speak? Councilwoman Hurtak?
I mean, if you think that you just want to go ahead and make a motion to open for oral argument, if that's what you want to.
The other thing is we could remand it back and ask these questions, right? Or ask them to clarify.
With regard to the fact as to, you will have to probably do it articulate the specific question that you've been working to formulate with regard to the previous code, and it's a question of use. I would recommend that ultimately, whatever you decide to do, if it's remanded, it has to be done with particularity. That's the word.
So, because, I mean, it says here that they literally came to find a formal decision to seek the determination regarding the non-conforming use of office for the site. So what that tells me is that they didn't have one. So to me, that is a finding of fact, that if they didn't already have that grandfather, if they had gone for the grandfather, they would not have no need to go to request a formal decision. So that's how I read it.
Just to bring us back into focus, but our stated task here was to, one, accept what the hearing officer had found in fact in law, and to focus on the exceptions that the petitioner provided to that. And so those facts are there. The usage of the building was established by the hearing officer. You just have to compare the exceptions. So if your concern falls within the parameter of an exception, then I think it's worthy of being heard. If it doesn't, it does not. Is that correct?
I would phrase it this way. If you feel that the hearing officer did not include something that you think is necessary as a finding of fact, you could have, that's a basis for opening it up for oral argument and give the parties the opportunity to address specifically, and you can limit that. Again, no additional new evidence can be taken.
Right.
It has to be based on evidence that is in the record, and on either side, if they go beyond that scope, can object to what is going to be sworn testimony, because they can give you sworn testimony as to that which is already in the record and was presented to the hearing officer during and in advance of the hearing and subsequent to that when he prepared this order.
I'd entertain a motion to deny oral arguments. We want to see if that float goes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. We have a motion from Councilman Maniscalco, a second from Councilwoman Hurtak to deny oral arguments. Roll call, please.
Vieira,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
Maniscalco,
Yes.
Hurtak,
Yes.
and Clendenin.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you. And do we need another motion, or are we done?
No, we have.
You have to, there's a question here of a decision.
Okay.
Now
now
it's decision time.
Now it's, yes, now you have to, based on the information that you have provided to you and based on the record and the recommended order.
So can we get a motion to affirm the decision of the hearing officer?
Well, I mean, we still could deny it. I mean, there's like, so, but you're asking for one to
Right.
affirm it. Based on the law and the review and what is in these documents, I recommend that the petition for a review be denied and that the decision of the zoning administrator be affirmed.
I'll second that, so it's to accept the
Yeah.
recommended order.
Right.
To
We have a
re- yeah,
motion from
to accept the
Councilwoman
recommended
Hurtak.
order.
We have a motion from Councilwoman Hurtak, a second from Councilman Maniscalco. Roll call, please.
Carlson,
No.
Miranda,
Yes.
Maniscalco,
Yes.
Hurtak,
Yes.
Vieira,
Yes.
and Clendenin.
Yes.
Motion carried with Carlson voting no.
Now, counsel, if I can, I believe we may need to follow this up. What is the process for the final order? Is that, what is the process from this point on? Or is it something that will be handled from this point on?
So, Kamaria Pettis-Malcolm from the legal department, if city, and I'm just reading again from the code 27-61, if city council directs staff to prepare a revised order, the revised order shall be transmitted to the parties and non-party participants. So, there hasn't been a change unless city council
So
is
no-
directing
So no further action is required by city council after this point?
No.
So, and the applicant has the final order is rendered by city council shall be deemed final and may be appealed to a court of competent jurisdiction in the matter set forth by applicable law.
For the record, my name is Jane Graham. I represent the petitioners. I object this on the grounds of due process, and I don't need to go into more detail. We believe that there wasn't adequate notice for you given in the agenda. We timely filed this. It was not in your agenda materials. You were forced to read it right now in a very kind of quick way. This is a detailed issue that needs time to really digest. And so on those grounds alone, we do object, and thank you very much.
Your objection is noted. Thank you. Okay, can we have a motion to close?
Move to close.
We have a motion to close from Councilman Maniscalco, a second from Councilman Miranda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. That concludes our business. New business. Councilman Carlson?
They silenced us. I don't agree with the city. Sorry, you silenced us.
The Expressway Authority has asked us to put their CEO, Greg Slater, on the agenda for 15 minutes. So I'd like to make a motion to request the Tampa Hillsborough Expressway Authority President and CEO, Greg Slater, to give a 10-minute, let's say 10-minute presentation on the South Selman Capacity Project on the December 18th Council regular meeting under ceremonial activities and presentations.
We have a motion from Councilman Maniscalco, I'm sorry, Councilman Carlson, a second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. There you go. 18th. It's a Christmas present. Is that it? Councilman Vieira.
Yes, sir. I have a couple quick motions, if I may. I motion for mobility to report back on staff improvements at Commerce Park Boulevard around Liberty Middle School and the New Tampa Recreation Center, and to report back the November 6th regular session with a written report. Long story short, there was an incident with a student who was hit over at Liberty Middle School. I visited working with Jessica Vaughn and others on this, so just to get a written report, if I may.
We have a motion from Councilman Vieira, second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
I also motion for an annual update on the disability internship program to take place in the first regular session in April, which is World Autism Awareness Month, because again, I will not be here, and I want to make sure this thing goes on forever. So, so it would be obviously April of next year.
We have a motion from Councilman Vieira, second from Councilman Maniscalco.
Yes, ma'am.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it unanimously.
I motion for Parks and Recreation to report on a rollout plan for inclusive playground equipment at parks outside of the CRA. That would include South Tampa as well as the North Tampa area. I understand we're limited on funds outside of the CRA, so I intend to make the same motion at CRA. Further, staff to clarify if it is now standard practice to include inclusive playground equipment as part of major parks improvements and new parks. I would like this to be an in-person report on November 20th.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilman Vieira, second from Councilman Maniscalco. I'd just like to say I really applaud your efforts on this. I think every child that shows up at a playground should be able to be included and be able to participate.
Yes, sir.
So,
Thank you,
all
sir.
those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
And then lastly, this is a long time coming. This goes back all the way to Joe Catano. Y'all remember Joe Catano? I
Jet
know.
black, dyed hair.
Yep, Joe, and he's a funny guy. So I motion for Tampa Police Department as appropriate to report on the possibility of establishing a new Tampa substation in an existing strip mall or building where there may be current availability, and this be an in-person report on November 6th. So long story short, we in New Tampa, our nearest substation is in District 2, which is over off Annie Street next to Station 13. And, I was talking to Chief Burkhaw, and I just brought it up, and he appeared to be receptive. Let's see where they stand. But is maybe not a full substation, but we see a lot of times that there are these strip malls where you rent something. Sometimes the owners give it to you. And so that there can be a formal substation-esque presence in New Tampa. So that would be my motion.
We have a motion from Councilman Vieira, second from Councilman Maniscalco. Where did you suggest the location?
Anywhere, New Tampa.
Anywhere New Tampa.
Anywhere in the Alaska of Tampa, yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's quite broad.
I know.
Well, not really, because There's not a lot of commercial space there. He's
Yeah.
talking about commercial. There's only 1 or 2 corridors for commercial space in
But
Tampa.
it's long.
Yes, but,
Okay,
but we're
very
not
good.
talking about the whole.
Yeah, I know there's, you know, that, what is it, Hunter's Green is a hotbed of activity.
There you go, right, I know.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, ayes have it.
Thank you. And then I did want to comment, obviously, we saw the report on the Racial Reconciliation Committee and what's happened there. I am in talks with the committee members. I called a few yesterday when I was briefed on it, this morning as well, and I've been in contact with them, and I'm setting time aside tomorrow, 9 a.m. and I think at 1 p.m. because obviously I can't meet with them collectively because of sunshine issues, to speak with everybody individually. I do think it's proper to make a motion later on for commendations, and we'll discuss it further. I think it's terrible what's happened. Obviously, it's very important to know that this is something that's outside of our control. It's outside of city staff's control, and I think that anybody that says that the city legal department, we can ask Mr. Shelby for his opinion on it as well. There's nothing, it's all from the federal government. And so I think it's terrible. I mean, I've never seen such blatant appeals to racial grievance and division coming from the federal government through things like this, and it breaks my heart, and it breaks my heart for the committee members who deserve better, and for Tampa that deserves better, and Florida and the United States of America deserves better than this. But yeah, just my thoughts. Thank you.
I think you'd get a unanimous consent on that. That's it?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Councilwoman Hurtak.
Yes, earlier we talked about stormwater money and for parades. So what I think I will simply do is just ask the administration to come to us on November 6th with their plan for barricades and parades, so that we will be able to find out whether or not they plan to use stormwater employees. So my motion is to have the administration come on November 6th. And actually, a written report is probably fine. So if that's the case, actually, then I want to do that on November 23rd, a written staff report on how the administration plans to provide barricades for parades, and if stormwater staff will be used for such.
Mr. Shelby.
How far away is that? How many weeks is that?
That's 2 months.
No, it's a month. It's
Oh,
a full month.
It's a full month?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You said the 23rd?
Yeah, the 23rd of
September.
October.
Of October.
Oh,
Sorry.
You said
November.
Yeah, I said November, and then I went back and I was like, if it's a written report for October 23rd. My only wanting to get it done earlier is because the season really starts in November. So if staff needs more time to November 6th, I'm open to that. But again, it's a written report, not a oral one. So
October 23rd then?
23rd, we have room because it's written.
Thank you.
I second that.
Can I get your point, but is that where we're kind of like dabbling where we're not supposed to be dabbling?
All I said was just to ask, because these are the questions that we're getting
So
from our constituents.
it's just a report
Just a
of
written
fact. It's just a
report
report
of
of
fact.
fact.
Yes,
Not
that's-
questioning whether
Nope,
it's.
not a question, just a
Okay.
report of fact.
Okay, very good.
Because you're right, we can't, but people are going to ask, so I just want
Okay.
the information so that we can accurately provide the information.
Okay, sounds fine. Mr.
Yeah, we
Councilor
can, we
Carlson.
can, and we have in the past asked. It doesn't, we can't order the administration to do something, but we can ask. I think this is a good first step. Let's see what they come back with
Okay,
first.
very good. Oh, big yawn. We have a motion from Councilwoman Hurtak, a second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, the ayes have it unanimously.
And one point of privilege, yesterday was my husband's birthday. I just want
Oh,
to
happy
wish.
birthday, Tim.
Happy birthday.
Happy
Tim,
birthday
happy
to
birthday.
you.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes, he'll love you for that.
I see you married a much younger man, is that what you're saying?
Yes, much younger.
Councilman Maniscalco.
I have nothing.
Well, you're my favorite councilman today.
Remember that song, I Have Nothing?
I have nothing.
Anyway.
Councilman Miranda.
Thank you. A sad thing, one of our leaders in the homeowners association movement ever since I can remember was Margaret Veazey. And she passed away Wednesday, September 10th. There is a visitation hour Monday, the 22nd of this month at 9 a.m. at Christ the King Church, a meeting followed by a mass at 10. She was a wonderful woman. She had a very low-key, but when she looked at you, those eyes were telling me, you know what I want. And she was very good at doing what she did, and I want to honor her. And she was a very fine person and had a great organization started through that organization, mainly with South Tampa people.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I got involved with Dan, it was Margaret Veazey.
She was the one.
The powerhouse.
She was the
Her,
powerhouse.
Jerry Frankhauser, Steve Labore.
Yeah.
So many people have died, from the original fan group, but now we have a new generation that's taking it on. But yeah, Mrs. Veazey, Marty will tell you. I mean,
Yeah,
she's a big deal.
she was probably the most powerful neighborhood leader that I've
Yeah.
seen in my
And she
career.
did it with a kindness that when you left, she knew what she wanted without her telling you.
Every
So that was the
developer-
difference between Stephanie Pointer and.
No, I didn't say that.
Did you hear that, Stephanie? Wasn't me? I didn't say that.
No, I didn't say that at all.
But every
I'm
developer,
the same way she was.
every
Get
developer,
mad.
even if it wasn't in her neighborhood, they still would call her to talk to her to make sure that she was on their side.
Yeah.
In fact, things were different. There was no internet ready to speak of, no nothing. And they still made the effort to do what they had to do. Secondly, I'd like to make a motion for Chuck Garden, the Tampa Bay Water, head of Tampa Bay Water, to make a presentation before council, if possible, December the 18th, provide an overview of major initiatives that they're working on.
Second.
Sorry, before you vote, can you limit it to 10 minutes, please?
Pardon me?
Can you limit it to 10 minutes, please?
Yeah, we can do it 10 minutes.
Second.
Yeah, because now we have 3.
First speaker.
Okay, so we have a motion from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it unanimously.
And secondly, I'd like to have somebody from the Parks Department come up. We've had a change in the leadership there, and I have made arrangements between the individuals of the park that I visited and the previous administrator of Park and Recreation. If they can come up sometime, give me a date, to talk about Henry Anola, the update and changes that would need to be made there at the park.
Okay,
But
So
I don't have a
to
date.
be determined date?
just to be determined.
Yeah, to be determined. Give me any day you want.
We have a motion, do you want to pick a day?
Yeah,
Let's pick a
if
day.
we can.
We have our date specialist, our chair pro tem,
And enough
the
time.
keeper
for them
of the
to-
dates.
And enough time for notice to them, obviously.
Yeah, that's fine.
November 6th is.
November 6th is fine.
wide open.
I'll second that.
Okay, so Parks, November 6th. We have a motion from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it unanimously.
Mr. Chair, real quick, I wanted to offer my condolences to Martha Vila because her sister Emily Perez passed away yesterday at 88. And we know how Martha loves city council and all she does, especially with the Vila Brothers Park. But I want to offer my condolences to the
Second.
And Martha, if you're listening, we're thinking about you.
Move to receive and file.
Okay, we have
I
a,
think I have an item.
Mr. Shelby.
Unless- Excuse me, do you have anything, Mr. Chairman?
I do not.
Okay, thank you. I just want to direct your attention to the ordinance that has been passed on second reading regarding the charter review. It turns out that on October the 8th, what is coming to council is only a written staff report, and it reads as follows. Administration to submit their list of recommended changes of the charter. And I would perhaps suggest that we could add another written staff report, perhaps by me, to talk about next steps with regard to what kind of steps council will need to take to get this up and running through a resolution.
Okay, Councilwoman Hurtak.
Well, on October 23rd, we have a scheduled discussion regarding the goals and objectives and scope for the Charter Review Commission to consider, including information provided by legal department and the administration.
That's it then.
So we did set up
We
the
did.
written
See, we are
report
brilliant.
on the 9th so that we could talk about it on the 23rd, and I think that would be the perfect place for next steps.
That's wonderful.
Well, there you go, you're
So
all
that,
set.
that business was already done. We anticipated this and fixed it, had it before you thought
Well,
about it.
as long as
We just
we're-
didn't remember.
and thank you for putting me on the same page as city council.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, if we didn't have our calendar keeper, where
That's
would
right.
we be?
Keeper of the dates, keeper of the calendar. We
Move
have
to receive
royal
and file.
titles.
Move to receive and file.
We have motion to receive and file from Councilman Maniscalco, a second from Councilman Carlson. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed.
There's still sunlight.
We are adjourned.
We could go.